Welcome to Digital Optics. In this session, we explain you about software requirements engineering process. In the previous tutorial, we have explained you about what is software requirements engineering. So, software requirements engineering is really very important concept of software engineering. So, in this session, we explain you about how the requirements are collected, or what kinds of activity to be followed related to software requirements engineering. So, let's move on. So, agenda for today: what is software requirements engineering? Software requirements engineering process. So we should focus upon these two things. So what is software requirements engineering? So the software requirements are the description of features and functionality of the target system. Requirements convey the expectation of the user from the software product. So software requirements are the user needs, and it's are the necessary functionality should be added to the software, and software should perform these things. So in the previous tutorial we have a brief introduction towards software requirements engineering. So it's all about the definition. So software requirements are the user needs which should be performed, and we should be fulfilled by the software product. So, software requirements engineering process. Requirement engineering is the process of defining, documenting, and maintaining the requirements. It is a process of gathering and defining service provided by the system. Requirement engineering consists the following main activities. So, requirements engineering is the process of defining and maintaining the user needs and document these things because they are really very important. During the development of the product, we should focus upon these requirements, so it should be in the proper format and it should be arranged because it directly affect the functionality of the software. So we should focus, we should define them, we should document them, and we should maintain these requirements during the whole development. So requirements engineering process consists of the following main activities: feasibility study of the project, requirement gathering, software requirement specification, software requirement validation. So we should give you introduction toward these concepts. In the coming tutorial, we will explain this thing in the brief way. So let's move on. And feasibility study. Feasibility means possibility. It is the study of the project, that whether the project is possible or not. So when we start to develop or make the software, we should start from the feasibility study, whether the project or the software is possible or not. So software feasibility is really very important, because if the software is not feasible, so it may later very huge amount of cost should we bear, so which is quietly impossible. So we should study the feasibility of the project from the different perspectives, such as is project is possible in the current environment. We should study the environment. Is project is possible in the available resources such as time, money, people. So all these are resources which directly affect our software. So as the project is possible with complete given time, such as we specify the schedule. So in the given schedule we provide the system to the user. As project is possible in the estimated cost, such as economically we study the project, say in the given cost it is possible. As project is possible in the in the way to deliver the user expected needs. So if the user needs are should be faithful or not, or should be possible in the given system what the user want from the system. So feasibility study is really very important. If the project is not feasible, if the software is not feasible, and we should invest the money, we should use our resources, and we cannot take the product in the last, so it quite be really very very danger. So we have requirement elicitation. Requirement elicitation is the process by which we can collect the requirements from the system or gather the requirement from the user. So it's a very important process. So in requirement engineering, requirements elicitation is the practice of researching and discovering the requirements of the system from the user. customer and other stakeholders. So the practice is also sometimes referred to as requirement gathering. So there are a number of requirement elicitation methods. Few of them are listed below. Why we need requirement elicitation? Because the user are not uh, sure that what they need, what they expected from the system. So software development company should collect these requirements with the help of methods such as interview the users, the stakeholder, what they want from the system. Brainstorming session is really very important. So it should set up the environment and ask the questions, or just gather the idea related to the system from the users. Facilitate applications specification technique, so quality functional development deployment, use case approach. So all these methods methods are really very important. With the help of these we can collect requirement from the users. So in the coming session we will explain these concepts in the brief way. So it's all about the requirement elicitation is the gathering requirements from the users. So software requirement specification, refer to SRS. Software requirement specification document less sufficient necessary requirement for the project development. To derive the requirements, so the developer needs to have clear and through understanding of the products under deployment. So this is achieved through detailed and continuous communication with the project team and customer throughout the software development process. So software requirement specification is the process in which we specify the functionality of the system. We collect the user needs, but we should specify that this system is made for these requirements. We should sweetly study these concepts, that it is suitable with the given requirements or not. So SRS software requirement specification, we specify the system is a system will provide this functionality and system is for these kind of action to be performed. So software requirement specification list out the requirements and in which we specify the system specifically for the given operations. Software requirement validation. Validation is the process of checking the requirement defined for the development, define the system that the customer really wants to check the issues related to the requirement. So for example, we have made the system, or we have made the system, but the user is not on the same page as the developer. So validation checks whether the user want this functionality provided by the system. So requirements validation is really very important. We should validate these requirements, we should confirm this requirement from the customer, that are you looking for these requirements, is these are your needs. So validation is really very important, and when validation is performed and the developer team should confirm these things, and after the confirmation it is really very easy to develop a system for the users because it is validated and there is no issue. So we usually use requirement validation to check error at the initial phase development. So as the error may increase excessive rework when detected later in the development process. So when we confirm this requirement at early stage, it is really very easy for us to manage these things. Unless we confirm these requirements at a last stage, so it is really very bad idea, because we have given a lot of time and we have used a lot of resources on the system. So it's all about the software requirements engineering process. In the coming tutorial we should follow these concepts such as feasibility study, uh, requirements gathering. All these things we will explain in the coming tutorials, all about the introduction towards software requirement engineering activities process. So stay with us. Thank you.